So we are so excited to share how we took an 11-day trip, including a 7-night Caribbean cruise for the two of us, all for $3,033. We were really trying to keep it under $3,000, but we got pretty close.
All right, let's break it down.
Hey guys, my name is Lisa Hoppy and this is my husband Peter Hoppy, and we are the Happy Hoppies, bringing you some more travel content. So we just started a cruise series. Definitely go check out the last video. So we ended up doing a 7-day cruise with Norwegian, and we wanted to break down the cost. What is a 7-day cruise going to cost you? And we even added on 3 days in Puerto Rico.
So the thing with cruising is the pricing looks really, really good at first. Like the cost when we were looking at an all-inclusive resort was like $2,000 to $4,000. And then when we started looking at these cruises, the particular one we booked, it was listed as $399 per person. So sounds way better, right? Plus you get to go to all these different places, all these fun activities on the ship. Anyway, so it just looks like an awesome deal. And it still is good, but there's all these other fees and add-ons and options that you gotta consider too. And not all of them are required, but some are. There's port fees, so depending on how many and what islands you're going to, that's gonna determine how much you're gonna have to be paying for port fees. I think ours is about $250 per person or something.
Yeah, there was one cruise we were looking at where the destination looked incredible, but I forget where it was, but for whatever reason, those port fees were like $700 a person. Overall, just for the cost of the cruise, just the room, plus the port fee. So the cost of the cruise itself without any gratuities and all of that was $1,502 for the both of us. Now, we chose to do an interior room, and that was because for us, it's more about the places that we were going to, and we knew that we weren't gonna spend too much time in our room. I've only cruised one other time before, and that was with Carnival. And I do remember that room felt super tiny. This one, I felt was pretty spacious.
It was
with
great.
Norwegian, their closet was incredible. We brought way too much stuff. I'll talk about that later. Way too much stuff. We really overpacked. And even with that, we unpacked everything. We put it away because we were on the cruise for 7 nights. We still had 3 unused drawers that we didn't even use at all. They had so much storage space in that room. So definitely incredible.
And then there's also gratuities, so tips, because there's a lot of awesome people that are working really hard on the ship to make sure you're having a great time.
They're incredible.
The team that's making your bed, putting clean linens, towels in your room every day. If you opt to, we opted a couple days to just give our guy a break so that he didn't have to do it every single day. But if you wanted to, they could change stuff out every day.
Yeah.
And then of course you have dining staff, so at the restaurants, and of course cleaning the ship. There's a ton that goes on obviously on the ship, all entertainment. So for that, it was another $225 for both of us?
Yeah.
Okay. So not terrible, but obviously everything kind of keeps adding up, and they 100% deserved every single penny of that.
Oh yeah.
The staff was absolutely incredible.
Now, NCL does what they call free at sea, and so it's buy one and then the second person's free, but then that's why it was $400 was half off, so it was $800 and then they halved off. So they get a little creative with their numbers, but then the third and fourth passengers are free.
Now this is all in the same room, okay? So that's the key. That would work
the third
better
and fourth.
if you have kids that are going with you.
Yes, yeah.
That's not really ideal. I don't know. I guess they would have bunk beds in the rooms. Then that'd be a little tight if you have 4 adults in the same room.
If you had 4 adults in that room, it would be a little tight, yeah. They had a drink package free and a fine dining experience free. And the reason I have it in quotes is because for the drink package and the dining experience, you had to pay the gratuities for that. So for the fine dining, it was very reasonable. And if any of these you don't like in the checkout, you can just unselect them and you save that money. So for the fine dining, it was $20, which was the tip for an amazing gourmet meal. We chose that, and that was a good experience. We ended up going to a Brazilian restaurant. It was so good.
Lots of meat. And, you know, all the food on the cruise ship is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And Norwegian, one thing that we found out while we were with them is they have this on every table. We went to like every restaurant, they said, nobody does dining like Norwegian. And from our experience so far between Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian, I would say it's true. Like they've had the most variety and the best quality food that we've experienced so
And it's
far.
so crazy that like all of that, you know, is included in that original like $1,500 because you're on the cruise for 7 days. That includes all of your, you know, hotel stays basically, and all of your food, and, you know, even entertainment, and it takes you from one place to the other, like your transportation. So it is really an incredible deal.
So all of the food is really, really good on Norwegian. And so we were like, well, we'll try one of these, but everything was good. Like what's included is good. And if you want even more, they have paid options too.
Yeah. And so for the drink package, what they did for all you had to pay was the gratuities, but the gratuities per person was $150. So for both of us, that was like $300 extra that we chose to do this time to try it out. You really have to drink like 2 to 3 drinks a day to make it worth it.
I think we figured about 3, average 3 per person per day.
Yeah, but the problem is that might work when you are, you know, on sea days, but then other days you're off exploring. And so in the future, we probably just won't do that. And if we want like a glass of wine or something with our meal, we can just, you know, pay the $11, $12, and that's gonna end up being cheaper than getting the drink package.
It was fun to try different kinds of drinks, but yeah,
you know,
we don't
it's
need to
fun,
do
you
that
know,
again.
you're getting a like pina colada or something after, you know, being out in the hot sun, but it's not something that we need to do every single time. So even though it is free, you are paying $300 for the 2 people for the gratuities.
Which again, the bartenders, the people that are working their butts off.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They definitely deserve that.
The cost total for the drink package, plus the tips for the dining experience and all the gratuities, so all of those gratuity tips was another $550. So that definitely does bring the cost up. I know obviously we could have saved $300 of that if we did not do the drink package. So the next big cost was the cost of transportation. So this included the flight to get from Indiana to San Juan, the cost of 3 different rental cars because we rented a car in Puerto Rico, we rented a car on 2 of the islands, cost of Uber because that first day we did not get a rental car in Puerto Rico. We just took Ubers everywhere.
And scooters.
So that also is included in this cost. Yeah, we had a fun time riding scooters. I'm wearing the same shirt I am now. And then on one of the islands, we did a bus system because they had a really good bus system. So for all of those transportations, it was $450.
Partly because we ended up using points for our flight. So
Yes.
the flight was...
Our flight was $22 with taxes.
plus $60 for luggage.
Oh my goodness, that's also included in there. Yeah, again, did I tell you we packed too much? So, I was super stressed out packing.
This was the first time in how many years that we had a checked bag?
Guys, we took 5 bags for like 11 days when we took 4 smaller bags for an entire year around the world. So we way overpacked. We felt like we were traveling newbies. I was like, have we done this before? Like, what is our problem?
It was just different. It's a cruise.
It was
so
different. The day before, realized we're not gonna be able to fit everything in our carry-on, and I went out to Goodwill. I found a giant suitcase for $15. We stuffed everything in there, in addition to everything else we had, and that cost an extra $60. So with a lot more planning, we definitely could have brought the cost of this down even more. But yeah, that all of that is included with the $450. And so yeah, obviously the flight, how we had the points for that was actually from our world trip, when we had signed up for several different credit cards and we got points, and Delta's points, they never expire, which was incredible. So 5 years later, we were finally able to use our Delta points, which was just awesome. So, and actually we still have some Delta points to use. Because one of the reasons we stayed 2 days after in Puerto Rico instead of 1 is because the points were so much cheaper that Tuesday instead of that Monday.
We also paid for 2 excursions. So 3 islands, we rented a car that was in the transportation or took a bus and just kind of explored on our own. But then 2 others, we booked an excursion. One was through TripAdvisor and one was through the cruise line. So the excursion cost was another $221.
Cost of meals. Now we had our meals those 3 days in Puerto Rico, and we also got some meals and snacks when we were on the islands. And so total for all of that was another $175. And we definitely could have, you know, done it a lot cheaper. We probably didn't have to get a meal on the islands. You'll see why in the first day, why we chose to get a meal, but we didn't have to get meals because even if you're like on the land for like 8 hours, you can eat a super great breakfast and maybe have a couple of snacks with you. Like one thing I did forget to bring was like granola bars, because I thought like that would be something easy we could take and have on the island. And then on the ship, we ate so much to the point where I was like, I can't eat 3 times a day with these like portions we're giving. So it was definitely a lot of food. So you really don't need to eat when you are on the islands, but it is nice to try.
If you have kids, you probably do.
Well, yeah. It is nice to try the local food though too.
With hotels, so we ended up spending another $136 in hotels. Really, that was just for 1 night.
That was just for one hotel, because the other 2 we also had points for.
Right, so we flew in the day before the cruise was leaving, so we didn't have to worry about like a flight being delayed and potentially missing the cruise departing.
Because it was winter and you could have had a snowstorm here, you know, so we just wanted to make sure we were there.
So we did that, and we're glad we did that because a bunch of people that booked through the cruise line that got the free airfare for the second person deal, they were like late, so they had to actually delay departure for like
there were like 200
people coming in.
Yeah, that is the benefit of booking through the cruise line, is because if you are late, they will either hold the ship, or what they would have done is possibly like fly you on to like the next destination, which means
that would have stunk because you would have missed some of the time at sea. Like,
yeah.
So I'd recommend going if you can, you know, the day before. It's depending on when your ship is leaving. It was nice.
Yeah, and then the next 2 days that we were there after the cruise, we just used hotel points, and that was really great. And we even, one of the days of the rental car, we also had points for. So, you know, we saved up our points. We hadn't traveled in a while, so we just had all these points ready. So that was super nice to be able to save that way. Yeah, so for all of those, all the total cost, it was $3,033. It's really hoping we would get under $3,000, but you know, I had to pay an extra $60 for another suitcase and a lot of ways that we could have cut costs, but just around $3,000, and that breaks down to $137 per person per day of the 11 days that we were gone. So overall, like that's like, you know, not a lot. It just seems like a lot because we did it for $50 a day per person when we were traveling the world.
Now that was an average to where like it was more expensive some places like New Zealand or some places in Europe.
When we were traveling.
But then, you know, it balanced out because of like places like Southeast Asia or India and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So this wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It was a splurge for 10-year anniversary trips.
So that's how we did our 7-day cruise, 11 days total of travel for around $3,000. I'll leave below in the description some of the credit cards that we really like to be able to get points, so you can get some points for hotels, flights, and all of those. Currently, I'm really loving the IHG card.
We like the Holiday Inn Expresses.
Yes.
And a cinnamon rolls?
Cinnamon rolls, yes, yeah.
The other expense we didn't include in all this are souvenirs. So Lisa did buy some gifts for the kids and for friends and family. And then obviously I got like a shirt, a couple shirts. We got a painting. So, but that can vary so much. That's based on what you want to buy or do or don't do. And she didn't go that crazy.
No, I didn't. It was probably just a couple, like, I don't know. It was less than $300, definitely.
Somewhere around $200-300, yeah.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Definitely subscribe if you are not already. In the next video, we will be talking about arriving to San Juan and finally exploring a new place again. So definitely check that out, and lots more videos coming your way. All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Bye. One tip, we're not sure if this works, but every time you went up, you could get 2 drinks. So I don't know if there was a way to select only one of us get the drink package, because if one was $150, and then every time you went up, you could get 2, one for me, one for you, then that could work. I don't know, that probably is like playing the system. They probably wouldn't like that very much. And I don't know if there was a way to only select it for one person and not the other.
We'll see next time.
We'll see next time we go through. So maybe we would do that. There was a way that we could possibly have gotten a better room with a bidding system. And I don't know if other cruises do this.
I hadn't seen this before, so either it's new or it's something that just Norwegian does. I don't know. If you've done another one and they do something like that, let us know.
Yeah, so what they did was they had like a minimum bid that you could bid for like an ocean view room, a balcony room, a spa room, or even like the Haven, which is like the super fancy. We didn't bid on the Haven because that was an extra like $300 per person. Like,
it was a pretty big jump.
It was a big jump. But what these other ones were was like $75 per person to up to like $150 per person. And we went like $5 or $10 like over the minimum bid. Like we're like, well, maybe we'll get something. Well, what we didn't find out is we ended up going out of San Juan, and we found out later that at the last month, they open it up to the locals in San Juan, and they offer them the cruise at a really good deal because they know once they're on the cruise ship that they have the extra space, it's better to have more people to, you know, go at the casino, get drinks, whatever. So get the excursions. So our ship was actually packed. So
there were capacity.
So many people on there that said we've never been on a ship this packed, and the capacity of the ship was 4,000, and so we were maxed out. But like, people were complaining about it, which I felt like, come on, like the capacity is 4,000. Like, you knew what you were getting into. I don't know how you can complain.
I didn't think it was bad.
It wasn't. You gotta wait for the elevator sometimes, but like you can just take the stairs. But in the future, if you want to do that upgrade and maybe don't sail out of San Juan, although that was also the one that we wanted because we wanted to go to all the islands. So we were very happy that we did it this way this time. But Norwegian does have that option to go up to the next room. And there were several people that we ran into that said this is the first time they were cruising with Norwegian where they did not get an upgrade.
So obviously if you book out of maybe a different port, go obviously in the off season, we were getting close to spring break, so that could have factored into it too. And then also, so that was available again after we had checked out and already paid for our room. They sent us an email offering, hey, do you want to bid on an upgrade later? So
and they did say like you might not know until like the day before we're cruising. So we kept waiting and waiting. We're like, well, surely we're gonna. But there were a lot of people that were kind of disappointed, I think, because they had counted on that because they had to cruise other times. So again, it's not a guarantee, but it is a nice option to be able to have. But the interior room, I felt like was absolutely perfect.
This next bonus tip I am so excited to share with you. I actually just found out about this today, and I had to make sure to get this in our video. We will definitely be using Cruise Plum to find our next cruise. So there are some deals that you can look at. Let's just go ahead and do the searching. You can pick if you are going with 1, 2, 3, or 4 people. We'll say 2. And then you can break this down so many different ways. Are you looking to go a certain date? Are you looking to go on a certain vessel? Are you looking to go on a certain destination? Are you looking to go for a certain length of time? Where do you want to go? What kind of cabin do you want? Do you want a balcony, a suite? And then how much is it going to be? And it breaks down the cabin price per person per day. So this is going to be breaking down actually for total. So this shows $152, that breaks down to $76 per person per day. So for this rate, it includes the base fare, the taxes, and the tips. So for us, that's just the base tip. So for our trip, that would have been the $1,500 plus the $225 tips for a total of $1,727 for the 7 days that we did. So that would have been $246 per day, and then divided by 2 123. Well, look at this. This is actually $76 for that inside room. So absolutely amazing. This is also with Norwegian. So definitely go ahead and use Cruise Plum for your next cruise search. Happy cruising!